NRL Grand Final this week, mate. Did you enjoy it last week?
Mate, I did. I thought it was a cracker of a game, and I enjoyed the result as well. I just enjoy grand final football, I think, and that was one really good example of it.
Yeah, mate, I agree. Always, mate, it's so often after a season, it's disappointing when the final blows out. But was it 14-12? Nice and tight, eh?
No, really good. And anybody's game up till a few minutes from the end. Really nice.
For Fad and Zarif.
Shukri, you appear to be on and unmuted at the moment. You've been in another session as well. Let me just.
He's a busy man.
See if I can. I think he might be muted now. There we go. Right, mate. Let's hear your 2 cents. What's the market going to do this week ahead?
G'day.
Happy days.
So, did you say the Fed was coming in as well?
Yeah.
Mate, I've got. I can still hear you in my cans, mate.
He's in Switzerland.
Hear all that conversation. Don't know if anyone else can. I'll try and talk over it anyway.
I think that's. Hold on a second, buddy. Let's see what I can do here.
Yep. Okay.
Why is he?
Stop now. All good. Okay, I'll continue. I think you're seeing my screen and hearing me. That'd be a good thing. I'm going to start with the one and only game changer bar on my list this week, and it is Euro Yen. Look, whilst I can totally see that it's bouncing off a support level, we got a game changer bar last week, and we've got one in the opposite direction this week. If you have a look at that a little bit closer, you can see how much of a range that's trading in. And I'd much prefer to trade this as a range than I would as a directional bias. So I'm looking at the top here, and I'll wait till it gets to the top and look to trade it to the bottom. Unless it breaks out of the top, then I can reassess if we get a retest. But at the moment, it is the only one on the board. And if you wanted to trade it, then obviously you'd be trading above that bar with your stop loss below. I think the reward to risk on that is ridiculous, so I wouldn't be even contemplating it myself at this point. Next one I want to look at is dollar Swissy. Now, dollar Swissy, for the longest time, you're going back to 2015, right up till last year, March of last year, or around about there somewhere, where it broke back through this 93 handle. And since then, we have had one false break of that level to the high side. That was in the early part of this year, as I understand it. March and April. We had a little bit of a fight with that battle, a fight with that level. Since then, we've ducked back underneath it and are currently retesting that level. There's that level there, 93.08 as I've got it. Let's call it 93. And so far, we've looked like going through, but not. And we are currently back underneath there with a bearish bar last week. I'm actually keen to try this at some stage. Am I willing to trade the daily bar, which was last Friday, of course, gave us a beautiful little tweezer top sitting on that weekly pivot. But a tweezer top in that position is really not a tweezer top, in my humble opinion, because it's not the top of anything. It's actually potentially a lower high, which is fine. And my biggest decision is going to be whether I actually trade Friday's bar short or not. I think I'll wait and see what the market, I will wait and see what the market dishes out in the morning in terms of a gap. If it does gap up, then I'd be willing to place that order underneath that bar. Obviously, if it gaps down, then that is out of play. But I'll keep my eye very, very closely on dollar Swissy for a short during the early part of the week. Euro CAD is the next one I would look at. Like a few, and Paul mentioned it earlier, like a few of the currency pairs, we have experienced breakouts over the last week or so, and Euro CAD is one of them. And if I look like I've got a smile on my face, probably because I've been in this short since January, potentially the longest time I've ever been in the market. But this is now looking very, very strong to the downside, having broken that monthly trend line. Is at a support level, no question. But I think this is now a saleable currency pair if it pulls back. So in other words, sell the rallies. And the next one could well be back to that level, though that's the low of the breakout, which is probably around about that 146 mark. So a pullback to there would be really, really good for a sell. you may not get that opportunity, such as the vehemence, if you like, of this move. So that is Euro CAD. The next one I want to look at is Aussie Swissies. A lot of talk about the Aussie at the moment. I don't disagree with any of it. The timing is obviously going to be the problem. What I see is the 68 handle here as the fly in the ointment, I'll put it that way, if you are looking to trade this long. A lot of the Aussie pairs are very, very similar, but this one, I've been waiting on this for the longest time. It just got into this ridiculous amount of consolidation and just couldn't get through that 67.50 handle, really, around about there somewhere. It did during the week, and now pullback does get me interested. But I can't just trade this bar here. I don't think we're knocking our head on that level again, the 68 cent mark. So I want to see it pull back a little bit further to get into this long. And I'm a fan, definitely a fan, but I don't like the price at the moment. I'd like to see it pull back a little bit further if I am to trade it. So Aussie Swissy on the radar, but I want to see a little bit of a pullback. Now, the one that is more interesting to me than any other, if you're talking Aussie, is pound Aussie. Now, I've gone to the line chart here for a particular reason. And that reason is that the most dominant part of this chart for me is that big you can call it whatever you like. I'll call it head and shoulders. And we've now put in a very, very similar scenario here. You can call that a head and shoulders too if you want. But the level, the horizontal level, is the key here for me. Whilst ever we're above it, you're probably looking for a bounce off it, maybe to test the trend line that exists through there on this, the weekly chart. Yet if I go a little bit tighter into the daily chart, and I do believe that that's the level, 1.86, about 3.7 as I've got it. Go to the daily chart, it gives you an entirely different picture because you've got that lower low, lower high scenario. Then you've gone into trend, lower lows and lower highs, and you've come back underneath that level, the 186.37 level, as I said, I've got it. And we've now retested that level at a beautiful confluence area. Again, the line chart points it out far, far better than any other chart. And for that reason, I'm a pound Aussie bear for the week. If I can find a way in here, that would be super, super special. At the moment, the answer is I can't, but let's see how this works tomorrow morning and into the new week. I'd love to see price poke above that level, come back underneath it, take out the low, retest that area, and then I think we've got a short on our hands. But there may be something far easier than that on a shorter time frame as tomorrow and Tuesday unravel. But I am a pretty massive bear pound Aussie if it does stay underneath that, what did I say, 186.37 mark. It might be 186.50. You know, it's in that vicinity. Anyway, those are the pairs that I'm looking at. And that for this week is my 2 cents worth, mate. Maybe I should go for 4 cents. Paul may not be about. There he is.
Sorry, buddy. I was having a good old chat with the mute button. Mate, thank you very much. Thanks for the generous sharing. It is really valuable. So I appreciate your time, and the rest of the team as well. Thanks for coming and doing that. For all of you who have joined us today, I hope you've got lots out of it. And again, look, take your time on a Sunday, do your analysis, get yourself a short list, and trade with that bias for the week ahead. It'll give you a huge hit start in your trading in the meantime. Stay calm, make good decisions, and it all works out at the end of the day. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back next Sunday with the same thing. If you want to watch some of the shortened up sessions, they'll be published by mine about an hour from now. She is having some internet issues, so maybe hold up a little bit, but I don't think so. Thanks for your company. Thanks again, team. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you later.